What's up, everybody? It's TZ, and I'm here with a short word today, and that word being pain is good. TZ, why would you say pain is good? Obviously, we are hardwired, and we have a natural propensity to avoid pain, to avoid anything difficult, right? We want to take the easiest path. That's why we go to the grocery store and purchase all of our food rather than how things were done 2,000 years ago when people had, if they wanted to eat, they had to go outside and do some level of gardening, whether it was a small enough garden to feed their family, or if they did it on a large scale and had a ton of people working for them, like a farm. And 2,000 years ago, farming was a lot more work than what it is today, even though it's still a lot of work today. Uh, but yeah, it was a lot of pain. It was a lot of work to produce food for you and your family and for people to eat. That's why instead of doing all that mess, we let somebody else farm and we just go to the store and buy our groceries to avoid the pain of all that work. Um, Shoot, dude, there's so many. 2,000 years ago, there were not vehicles. Okay, maybe you rode a horse or your behind had to walk. You had to walk where you wanted to go, right? So I myself, like many other people, own a vehicle to avoid the pain of having to walk 50 miles to the next city or whatever. Wherever you're trying to go, we want that convenience of getting places fast to avoid the suffrage and the pain of walking all that way through the extreme heat or the extreme cold. We wired for the path of least resistance. It takes a conscious effort. It takes an intentional mind. You have to be very deliberate in order to bypass, basically, in order to bypass that default setting in your mind to avoid pain. You got to be deliberate. It has to be on purpose. You have to be a person that is living on purpose in order to confront pain and accept it and bypass comfort in order to get where you're trying to go, in order to achieve what you're trying to achieve. And I think that's one of the more beautiful things in life, man. Uh, there's there's a verse that I love. Here it is. Matthew chapter 7, verses 7 and 8. This is King James Version. So y'all play it back if the vernacular is too much. Okay? Play it back and then redigest it. Ask and it shall be given you. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. For everyone that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened. Now, TZ, why did you read that and what does that have to do with pain? Well, this is how it made sense in my mind as I was just reading this. The Lord is speaking very, very he's speaking in a very declarative way. He's making a declaration. This is the words of Jesus Christ written in red, okay? He is not saying this passive aggressively. He is not saying this like there's any doubt in his mind. This is a clear and concise statement saying, if you ask for something, it shall be given to you. If you seek it, you shall find. Knock, and the door shall be opened unto you. Well, what does that have to do with pain? Okay, although God made that so simple, and how he just gave us the blueprint to getting what we want in this life, right? Although that's so simple, it's very deep. Okay, there's a lot of depth to those two verses. Now, what it does not say, once you live a little bit of life, you understand that it's implied, okay? It's implied underneath these verses that it may take some pain. It may take some suffrage. What he does not, although he guarantees that if you ask, something shall be given, although he guarantees that if you seek, you'll find, and although he guarantees that if you knock, it shall be open to you, although he guarantees that if you ask, you receive, okay, he does not mention time in them verses. He didn't say, ask and you shall receive in 10 minutes. Ask and whatever you want, you shall receive in 2 months' time. He don't say that, okay? And so I think for a lot of people, including myself, pain is a relative of time. It's like a distant cousin, pain and time. We don't think of pain and time in the same category, but it can. They do have a lot to do with each other, okay? Time can reduce pain. You know how they say time heals all wounds? Time can reduce pain, okay? If I hit my thumb with a hammer right now, it'll be hurting really bad right now. But 1 month from now, my thumb may feel perfectly fine like how it is right now. That time that passed healed my wounds. It healed my thumb. And then on the other side of that, pain is a relative of time in the sense that having to wait a long time and having to toil for something, you know what I'm saying, and having to wait on God and having to maintain a level of faith for a long period of time can be painful, okay? When you want something so bad, you could see a vision in your mind. You could feel it in your heart. You can feel in your heart the person that you want to be and the circumstances that you want to have and the people that you want around you. You can paint a perfect picture of it in your mind, okay? But that ideal that you have for yourself may be 10, 15 years down the road, right? So where the pain comes in and waiting that time frame of 10 to 15 years is, well, shoot, I'm going to have to maintain faith for 10 to 15 years. I may have to maintain this faith in order to realize this ideal in real time. That can be painful because what's implied but not said in these two verses is, yeah, if you ask, you may receive, but it may take 10 to 15 years and you're going to have some peaks and you're going to have some valleys. There may be some days where you got all this momentum going, right? You got all this momentum and things are going great, okay? And you feel like, shoot, this dream is attainable. And then 2 weeks later, life may hit you with a couple haymakers and uppercuts, right? And things seem like nothing is going your way. Nothing is happening how you want it. And now your dream, instead of feeling attainable, now it feels like, man, how in the world am I going to do this? How in the world am I going to accomplish this? And so the pain manifests itself in maintaining the faith for 10 to 15 years until you realize your ideal, okay? Maintaining faith, okay? Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So maintaining faith in something you haven't seen with your physical eyes, but there's the substance of it in your heart on the inside, that's a challenge, okay? Think about maintaining faith in something that you haven't seen for 10 to 15 years' time is like the equivalent, okay, I use a tug of war analogy, right? Say you enter a tug of war contest, right? And there's this huge prize at the end of it. You could win $1 million, okay? If you win this tug of war battle against a championship sumo wrestler, okay? Well, all you got to do is hold this tug of war position for 10 minutes time. You gotta not be flat on your face or flat on your back. You just gotta wrestle this dude for 10 minutes and you win. Now, you might be like myself, 5'9", 165 pounds, okay? And the sumo wrestler might be 6'4", 350 with a lot of muscle. Them 10 minutes would feel like 10 eternities, okay? You see the prize. You see the prize, the $1 million, right? But battling this man for them 10 minutes, maintaining the faith for them 10 minutes that you can do this. You won't fall on your face. You won't fall on your back. That's the challenge. And there's a lot of pain that's in them 10 minutes. But if you can maintain the faith for them 10 minutes and stand fast and do what you got to do for them 10 minutes, you get that prize. And that's the same thing that this verse is saying. Okay? It's implied. Pain is a beautiful part of life. Obviously, we don't want to go seeking out unnecessary pain and unnecessary suffering. But I'll never forget with a guy that I follow in the UFC named Sean Strickland. He said one thing. Sean Strickland says a lot of things. Some stuff he says is crazy. Some stuff he says I agree with. But one thing he said in an interview, he said, somebody asked him, man, being a UFC fighter is a very extreme career. Why do you do it? And he said, man, this is a very painful life that I live. Getting beat up for a living and having to beat people up and having to train all the time. Okay? When your life's on the line in that cage, he said, but the pain that I experience all the time lets me know that I'm alive. And then that man said that, and it probably went right over everybody's head because it's just a quote from just a guy. But that quote did something to me. That quote, it pretty much, it affected my life. Because he's right. Okay? If you're not being stretched, if you're not being challenged, then are you truly living? Are you truly bettering yourself? Okay? If you're not feeling that pain, if you're not sweating, okay? If you're not thinking, okay? If maybe every now and again if you're not sacrificing a little sleep, are you truly alive? Are you truly alive for your ideal? Okay? If there's not people in your life that motivate you to get up and do something that maybe you don't feel like doing in the moment, are you truly alive? A large portion of this life is pain. A large portion of this life is experiencing long time periods of pain, and the key to maintaining sanity and living life in a way that pleases God is maintaining faith in the midst of the pain that you must experience. Okay? I guess what I'm saying is pain is good because it lets you know that you're alive. Pain is good because if you can maintain faith through the pain and continue forward with your plan, with your ideal, then it's my belief, based off this scripture, God will get you what you want. God will do for you whatever you want if you maintain the faith. He didn't put a time frame on it because for some things and some people, the time frame might be 1 week. For some people and some things, the time frame may be 1 month. For some, it may be a year. For some, you might have to maintain that faith for 10 years. For some people, you might have to maintain that faith for 50 years. Will you do it? That's the question. Is it worth it to you? Because it's worth it to me. It makes a lot of sense in my mind. If this is the only life I'm guaranteed, if this is the only life that God guarantees me, yeah, I should try. I should try in this life. And if there's a little pain that I must experience on the way, I should maintain some faith through that pain. Easier said than done in a lot of situations. But that's why God gave us knees, to get down on them and pray. Pray for strength. Pray for endurance. Pray for the mental fortitude. Pray for the internal ingredients to move through this life, through the miry clay, through the quicksand of this life. You know what I'm saying? When you're going through the valleys of this life, when you got to walk through the fires of this life, when you got to experience that pain. Pain is a good thing. Avoid the unnecessary pain, but the pain that is necessary, meet it with thanksgiving. TZ, that sound crazy. Why would I be thankful for pain? Because you alive, brother. You alive, sister. You alive. So be alive, okay? And your reward is on the other side of that pain. Maintain the faith. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys listening to me. Hopefully, this message made sense. It makes a lot of sense in my mind. I'm working on relaying what's in my mind to you guys. I hope y'all are blessed by this message. Y'all take it easy.